Hello and welcome back to the Grand Prix World Series. My name is Topher Smith and today we head over to Africa for the next round in Marrakesh, Morocco. The European leg of the season is done and we can look to the last few races of this championship to decide all 4 titles for Season 5. As ever, we start off with League 2 and let's remind ourselves of the championship standings heading into this one. Shane van Gisbergen at the top in the Ducati on 132 points. 6 ahead of Earl Bamber in the Jaguar and a further 7 ahead of Marcus Ericsson in the Lola. That's your top 3 as it stands at the moment. Nick Tandy not too far behind in 4th on 112, ahead of Joseph Newgarden in the second Jaguar on 80, Roman De Angelis on 65, Julian Anlauer on 64, Yefe on 59, Jamie Whincup on 57 and Mitch Evans rounding out the top 10 on 51. Looking at the teams, Jaguar heads the table on 206 points with the likes of Ducati, Cupra Kiro and Lola in close proximity. Only 14 points separating the top 4, very close at the moment. Lancia on their own in 5th on 124 ahead of Zakspeed on 108. And then down near at the back, 40 Corsa on 44, Mazda on 40, Iron Dames on 30, Pacific on 29, Ford on 26, Chip Ganassi on 23 and Toyota with their double points last time out in Parnu, bringing their total up to 19 for their Season 5 campaign. We have no driver changes to bring you for today's Marrakesh Grand Prix in the League 2 category, so let's get straight to the qualifying results. And for the first time in their history, it is a Ducati 1-2. Sam Hall's team has locked out the front row with Shane van Gisbergen on pole by less than a tenth of a second ahead of Brendan Hartley. That is also Shane van Gisbergen's first pole position in the Grand Prix World Series. Earl Bamber, championship contender, makes it 3 New Zealanders in the top 3 ahead of Kalle Rovanpera, 4th in the Lola ahead of Nick Tandy and Jamie Whincup, the 2 Cupra Kiros 5th and 6th sharing row 3 together. Marcus Ericsson 7th ahead of Joseph Newgarden and the 2 Lanciers of Roman De Angelis and Yefe round out the top 10. Zane Maloney and Felipe Drugovich give Ford their best collective qualifying efforts of the season so far, ahead of Jolyon Palmer and Julian Anlauer, who has fallen off competitiveness a little bit in the last few races. He starts from 14th today. Callum Ilott, our reigning champion, will start 15th ahead of Kamui Kobayashi in the 40 Corsa. Then Shosu Boy, Johnny Adam, Nick Cassidy and Nick De Vries round out the top 20. And at the back, Richard Verschoor, Colton Herter, Dorian Pan, Kyle Kirkwood, Mike Scavissa and Louis Delatraz will start from the back, having picked up a grid penalty last time out. So Marrakesh could be very important as far as the championship is concerned. Not too many rounds left to go this season, so every point will be as crucial as ever as we get towards the crunch point of the season. Who will be triumphant in Marrakesh? Let's get down to the grid and find out. Let's hand over to our regular commentator Tom Cairns, who's ready and waiting in the box to call this one. So Tom, let's hand it over to you.
6 rounds to go in the Grand Prix Series in League 2, and it's intensifying in the race for the driver's title and in the race for promotion to League 1. The 5 lights are coming on here. Lights are on. Lights off, it's go, and it's a brilliant getaway from both of the Ducatis on the front row. And watch out for Earl Bamber as they look to make a move into turns number 1, 2 and 3 at the first chicane. And it's Brendan Hartley who takes the lead from Shane van Gisbergen out of there. So it's Hartley who leads, Van Gisbergen second. Earl Bamber, the compatriot of Van Gisbergen, is in 3rd place in the Jaguar. Then it's the Lola of Kalle Rovanpera in 4th position, who's looking to make a move on Earl Bamber as they head towards the second chicane of the lap. And Rovanpera is up the inside and is into 3rd position is the Finn. Newgarden in 5th place in the second Jaguar, and it's Nick Tandy, Felipe Drugovich, Jamie Whincup, Marcus Ericsson and Roman De Angelis inside the top 10 places. Brendan Hartley, who's certainly not in the championship fight but will play a key important role in the team's quest for promotion. It's the first time that the Grand Prix Series is contested in Marrakesh since this venue hosted the Grand Prix Series' 2nd ever race back in 2020. And the Ducatis are making the most of it here. Brendan Hartley, who was one of those that competed at this track, when of course he was a manor driver for Sam Hall's team. Unfortunately, he didn't get far in this one, he retired. Kyle Kirkwood, who looks like he locked up at the final turn of the racetrack. Now, did he get hit by the Iron Danes of Biskavitze. He does get a little tap, but it was only a little tap. Don't expect any form of penalty coming in the way of the Dutch driver. Kalamila already in the pits with some form of problem in the Pacific. Confirmation of no further action being taken on the incident involving Kirkwood and Witzer. 51 laps here in Marrakesh. Hartley is aiming to get his name back in the picture. Finished on the podium on his return in Poznan. He's retired from the last couple of races since then. Looking at the setups, a lot of teams have gone for predominantly a low downforce kind of setup. We've got Pacific have got maximum top speed, SAC speed neutral, 40 Lola, Lancia and Ducati maximum top speed, Jaguar mid top speed, Chip Ganassi maximum top speed, Toyota and Iron Danes mid top speed, Ford, Cooper Kiro and Mazda have all gone for maximum top speed. Brendan Hartley stretching out the margin, 1.1 seconds over his teammate Shane van Gisbergen, the championship leader, coming into this 6 points clear over his nearest rival, Earl Bamber. He got the pole position point earlier, so make that a 7-point gap. Marcus Ericsson, who's running in 10th position, third in the Drivers' Championship, 13 points off the top, made that 14. He's got some work to do if he's going to remain in the hunt for the championship. The 5 rounds we've got to go after this one are in Kyalami, New Delhi, Fuji, Sepang and Buriram in Thailand. There's also the non-championship Macau Grand Prix, involving the 13 highest scoring teams across the 2 leagues in this series. On lap number 4, the 2 Ducatis are continuing to pull away. Right on board with El Bamba, race winner. Last him out in Parnu. It's helped Jaguar massively in the grand scheme of things. Into the lead they went. The end of the last round. Joseph Newgarden, however, has not scored in the last 3 races. He needs to make up for it here. Ducati are 8 points behind Jaguar in second, Cooper Kiro third, a further 2 points back, and it's Lola in fourth, another 4 points behind. 14 points separating the top 4. And behind Lola, you'll see Lancia, who are 68 points off them. Move from the Mazdas going past Jolyon Palmer towards the back of the field. It's been a difficult season for Jolyon. Sitting 20th in the standings, he's gone 4 races without scoring. The 2 Ducatis. Hartley stretching out the margin gradually. It's now 1.7 seconds over Van Gisbergen. There are a total of 15 turns around this circuit, including the hairpin to round off the lap. Right on board with one of the Chip Ganassis in the field. I think that's Kyle Kirkwood, has just been overtaken by Dorian Pan. Kirkwood falls down another position, he's down to 25th. Hartley, Van Gisbergen, Bamber, Rothenpower, Newgarden, Tandy, Winkup, Drogovic, DeAngelis and Yiffy are your top 10. New fast stop of the race from Brendan Hartley at 1:13.9. Bamber, he's going for his 5th Grand Prix World Series win. all-time list, Scott Dixon and Tony Finistacos have 8 wins each. Now, victory for El Bamba today would put him level with Jean-Eric Verne and Callum Ilott with 5. Only 4 drivers would have more wins. In regards to the teams, Lola are on 8 wins. Now, victory today would put them level with BAR and Simtech on the all-time list. On lap number 7, are looking at El Bamba, gunning for another win. Victory for Jaguar would be their 4th in the Grand Prix series. It wouldn't be enough to go into the top 10, but at least they put them level with Ducati, who are gunning for their 5th win of the season. Shane van Gisbergen has won 3 of them, the other being won by the man who's no longer in the team, Mitch Evans. Mitch Evans winning in La Plata. Shane van Gisbergen winning out in Dijon-Bourgogne. We've also won in round 8, which was in Mugello. And the other one coming in at Hockenheim, the very next one after that. There is Shane van Gisbergen running in 2nd position. He will be happy with this one, but he'll ideally want to be ahead of Brendan Harley to stretch out the margin in the championship over the likes of Bamba, Ericsson, Tandy and co. And we're going to have our first retirement of the race. Batskavitsa has slowed in the Iron Dames. At least she is out of everyone's way and will pull off the circuit. And it's a front suspension failure or a rear suspension failure that's forced her to retire. And that's one of Jake Senson's cars out of the race on lap number 8. Right on board with El Bamba running in 3rd position still. Now, some drivers will be looking to do the 2 stops today, others will be doing the 1. Felipe Drogovic gets overtaken by Roman De Angelis for 8th position. De Angelis has finished in the top 4 in the last 3 races. He's aiming for another positive result here. He's probably going to have to rely on misfortunes of others to come away with another top 4 finish again. Bamba has won twice this season in Rockingham and last time out in Parnu. He also won on a couple of occasions last season. He'd won in Zhuhai in that car breaker event. The other victory coming in round 7 of season 4, which was held in Mugello. And the line goes. Shane van Gisbergen. Ducati have yet to achieve a 1-2 finish in the Grand Prix Series. This is their 13th event. Sam Hall was previously the manor boss when they went down from League One at the end of last season. He's certainly one of those gunning for an immediate return to the top flight. Now, one team that had a fantastic time of it for once in Parnu were Toyota, who managed to get their cars home and 6th and 7th places respectively. Gillespie would have been chuffed with that. The team managers did have an upgrade window prior to this round to upgrade the car's reliability, downforce and brake horsepower. Of course, anything can happen in the Grand Prix Series. One of the most unpredictable championships to be watching. We are looking at the most experienced driver in Grand Prix Series history, Kamui Kobayashi, who is competing in his 72nd race, driving for Dave Goddard's 40 team. It has been a season to forget this time around for the Japanese. He hasn't scored since round 6 of the championship in Mugello. He missed the opening 3 races of the season. First on the podium on his return in Indianapolis. He's now gone 6 races without scoring since that 8th place finish in Mugello. It wasn't Mugello, sorry, it was Dijon-Bourgogne, my apologies for that. But either way, it's been a barren run of form for Kamui Kobayashi. We'll be hoping for the season's end. I think a lot of team managers will be thinking about season 6, whereas others like Sam Hole, Ed Hunter, who's the team manager of Kipakiro, Mike Smith, the team manager of Jaguar, and Marcus Johansson, the team manager of Lola, will be setting their sights on promotion for League One, or promotion to League One. Marcus Ericsson in 10th place, just in front of Yi Yufi. Behind Yi is Shane Maloney, it's Kamui Kobayashi, Julian Anlower, who seems to have dropped away in recent rounds compared to what we saw from him at the beginning of the campaign, which is a shame. He came close to victory in Mugello until he broke his front wing in the final few laps, which forced him to pit, and that handed victory to Shane van Gisbergen on that particular occasion. Anlower would end up finishing in 6th position. Well, lap 13 out of 51. Hartley leads, and it's Van Gisbergen making it a Ducati 1-2. Earl Bamber is 3rd for Jaguar, and it's Kalle Rovanperä, the 2-time World Rally Champion, in 4th place. Race winner on debut in Poznan. The last driver before him to do that was Helio Castroneves in the League 2 Kyalami Grand Prix in Season 2 for Leighton House. Van Gisbergen doing his best to keep up with Hartley. What is his race strategy telling him? We don't know that for certain at the present moment. Kyle Kirkwood, who's had a very daunting season, has been very unlucky as well. 1 point all campaign. And in all of the races he did for Arrows, he only bagged 1 point finish as well. Now, last time out in Parnu, considering the circuit's characteristics, only the top 4 in the League 2 race finished on the lead lap. There is the League 1 race to come later on, so do not go anywhere. Reminder that the top 3 teams in League 2 will be promoted to League 1 for Season 6. The bottom 3 teams in League 1 will be relegated to League 2. Yiffy, who's fighting it out with Saint Maloney for... Oh, it's not Saint Maloney, that's Felipe Drogovic. I think Drogovic may have an issue because he was running a couple of positions up from the last we saw of him. Ericsson's got by him, Yiffy's got by him. I don't think it's going to be too long before Saint Maloney gets by him. Oh, we're going to see an early pit stop for Felipe Drogovic. Considering the pace that he's been able to set, I'd probably say that he's on a lighter fuel load. He's not had the pace at the beginning. Also, he's not had the pace of now to what he had at the beginning. Just the one retirement so far. Bajtskowitza retiring on lap number 8 with suspension failure. Callum Ilott pitted in at the end of lap 1 for repairs, and he's down in last place. You never know how the Grand Prix Series throw up. And we've already got a pit stop at Ducati. Brendan Hartley is in, and so is Earl Bamber. So the drivers in first and third coming in. And that hands the lead to Shane van Gisbergen. Kelly Rovanpera will go into second. And Joseph Newgarden makes sure that Jaguar keep a car in the top 3. We've also got Zane Maloney in for a stop. Brendan Hartley will rejoin in 10th position. Bamber will come out behind Jolyon Palmer in 14th. The traffic was the last thing that Bamber needed. Nick Tandy running in 4th place just in front of his Australian teammate Jamie Whincup, who has impressed since his return to the championship. In his 4 races he's had 2 second places and 2 5th places. And he also bagged a pole position last time out in Hanu. Jolyon Palmer is about to get overtaken by Earl Bamber, which is going to be no surprise. And Van Gisbergen's in from the lead, as is Newgarden from 3rd place, which hands the lead over to the Lola of Kelly Rovanpera, who leads, I think, for the first time since he won in Poznan a few races ago. Roman DeAngelis is also in, as is Yiffy. Now, both Lances are in. Now, this is going to cause a huge issue. I wonder if one of them, it might have been DeAngelis that picked up an issue, but Yiffy is going to be stuck behind him, and that could cause problems over at Lancia. Yiffy's going to lose time being stuck behind him. And Van Gisbergen's stop has seen him drop behind Earl Bamber, so staying out 1 lap longer has cost Van Gisbergen. He'll be on slightly fresher rubber, but that's little consolation. But there is another round of stops to come, and Colton Herta has crashed, and the left rear tyre has gone. Now, what happened there? Well, he had... Oh, that was the 40 that crashed into him. That was Louis Delatraz that ran into Colton Herta. We're going to see it again. And what was Delatraz trying to do there? What was he trying to achieve by going through like that? There was not going to be a gap for Delatraz to go through, but it's the end of Colton Herta's race once again. That's another retirement. That is the second one of the race, and I'd imagine there's going to be some sanction coming in the way for Louis Delatraz. There's no further action being taken, and I'm actually surprised by that, because it felt to me like Delatraz could have avoided it. That could be something for the team managers to discuss afterwards. Phil Kinch may launch an appeal to that. Team manager of Chip Ganassi. Kelly Rovanpera is remaining out there. Earl Bamber is heading through on Julien and Lower who remains out of the way, doesn't fight that one. Rothenpera, meanwhile, is continuing to lead. Will he decide to pit in at the end of this lap, or will he carry on for another one? Staying out for another lap. He's happy with what he's doing. Nick Tandy also remaining out there. What does Jamie Whincup decide to do? He's in. Whincup is in for his first stop. And Van Gisbergen locks up over the final chicane of the lap and was lucky to remain out of the barrier. Behind Van Gisbergen, that's Callum Ilott, who's a lap down. Whincup will fall behind the likes of Johnny Adam, Joseph Newgarden. He'll remain in front of Nick Cassidy in 13th. 6 seconds is the margin between Rothenpera and Tandy. We'll see Adam being overtaken by Joseph Newgarden. He's already pitted in this race. Rothenpera is in from the lead now. Now Haas remaining out there. Paid off for Rothenpera, who was running in 4th position before all the stops had arrived. And Ericsson's in on the same lap. Now, is he going to be stopped behind his teammate? He only had 1 lap of fuel remain on his gauge. And interestingly, we are seeing a couple of teams double stacking. Now, Ericsson's going to lose time to Rothenpera, although he was quite a bit back from Rothenpera, so he might be alright on this occasion. Van Gisbergen overtakes. Oh, and that's a retirement for Richard Verschoor after a brilliant showing in Parnu in the last round. It's a front suspension failure here, and it's game over for the Dutchman. Going back to what I was saying about Van Gisbergen, he got by Kalle Rothenpera as the Finn came out of the pit lane. Nick Tandy leads the race, and it's Brendan Hartley in 2nd position, who's already stopped. As Brendan Hartley's car is trying to get craned away from the circuit. It's off the circuit now, it's been craned away, so no problem. Brendan Hartley, meanwhile, is continuing to go after Nick Tandy, who we think is attempting to do the 1 stop. It's a brave strategy, but considering he's got the track position as we speak, it could pay off later. And Lauer and Palmer are both in, who were inside the top 10. Louis Delatraz makes his way into the pit lane. Kyle Kirkwood also in. The only Chip Ganassi left in the race. 3 retirements so far then. We have lost Bajskovica, Colton Herter and Richard Verschoor. 1 Toyota, 1 Chip Ganassi and 1 Iron Danes are out of the race. We've not lost anyone from the top 4 teams. Just see Callum Ilott coming out of the pit lane, much to the relief of Nick Tandy, who's only just lapped him. Kyle Kirkwood, who's just pitted, gets overtaken by Dorian Pan. Johnny Adam is the latest ahead for pit road, while Nick Cassidy makes the move on Louis Delatraz, who's just pitted. Well, lap 22, Nick Tandy leads. Hartley is second. Now Hartley, Bamber, and then it's Kobayashi in 4th place, who is not pitted yet. He looks like he's attempting to do the one stop. Nick Tandy has already celebrated victory this season for Cooper Kiro in Brno, the first victory in the Grand Prix Series for team manager Ed Hunter. Look at Tandy. He's got no traffic in front of him as we speak. Gisbergen's going through on Kobayashi for 4th place. Gets them moved up before they even get to the corner. Probably expecting a pit stop now from Nick Tandy. Then we are lap 23. Now, is this going to be a one stop? I would expect this to be a one stop for Nick Tandy. He wouldn't have been able to do another lap had he tried. Hartley goes through into the lead. Bamber will go through. Van Gisbergen will go through. What about Kamui Kobayashi? Is he remaining out there? He is remaining out there for another lap. Tandy rejoins in P7 ahead of his teammate. You see Rovanpera, right on board, going in front of Kamui Kobayashi, 4th position. That's the fin through into 4th place. Kobayashi is the only driver to have not pitted so far in this race. .7 seconds the gap between Hartley in the lead and Bamber in second. Now, as it stands, with the positions as they are, Bamber will be 4 points behind Van Gisbergen, with Ericsson and Tandy continuing to drop back. Kobayashi is now in at the end of lap 24, which will be his one and only stop of the race. Now Nick Tandy, who is behind his teammate now, his team has been able to get by him. Whincup is on a lighter fuel load compared to Tandy, and he's expecting to stop again. So it doesn't really surprise me too much that Whincup is ahead of him. Bamber continues to drop back gradually from Brendan Hartley. There's nothing you can do about him. And we look at the Kiwi. Brendan Hartley, his last win, coming in Sepang at the beginning of Season 3. And he was a Pacific driver. He'd also won 3 times in Season 1 for the Mana team. The first one coming in Poe. And the last 2 coming in Buenos Aires and Vancouver in that year. Hartley leads on lap 26. We're at the halfway point in this one. Are we going to see a third different Ducati driver winning this season. Tony's continuing to drop back from Jamie Whincup. He needs to keep up with him so he can optimise the strategy. The one man who won't be optimising his strategy is Shosubai in the Mazda. And it looks like another suspension failure that has forced him to retire. It's a puncher for Subai, but either way, it's game over for the Japanese pilot. Hartley continues to lead out in front. It's Ducati leading Jaguar, leading Ducati, leading Lola, leading Jaguar, leading Cooper Kiro, leading Cooper Kiro, leading Lola. On top, 8 cars from the top 4 teams are inside the top 8. And you've got Roman DeAngelis in the Lancia in 9th, and the Ford of Felipe Dragovic in 10th position. Ride on board with Julian Anlo, who locks up at the final turn. He's able to keep going. Same Maloney being overtaken by Yifi for the 11. Seven and a half seconds the gap between Hartley and Bamber. On lap 29 in this Lead 2 Marrakesh Grand Prix. Venue that once hosted A1GP many years ago. Wait for the second round of pit stops, which should come around about that 33 or 34. Now the first to come in were the leaders of Hartley and Bamber on lap number 14, I believe, which means they've been on these tyres for nearly 16 laps, so shouldn't be too far away from coming in for their final stops. Bamber 4 seconds clear of Shane van Gisbergen. Delachas with the Mazda of Nick Cassidy. And there are the list of retirements so far. Shosu by Richard Verschaw, Colton Herter, and Weissgewitzer. 22 still going from the 26 that have started. Bamber running a little deep. That's over turn number 8. Continuing to push hard in his pursuit of Hartley. Frank Gisbergen in 3rd place. Not too far in front of Kalle Rovanperä. Laps to go in Marrakesh. Hartley continuing to pull out the margin. Then it's Bamber, followed by Van Gisbergen, Rovanperä and Newgarden. Wincup is still ahead of Tandy by over a couple of seconds. It's Ericsson, DeAngelis and Dragovic in the top 10. Had many different race winners this season. In League 2, Jamie Jadwick won the first one, no longer on the grid. Yifi won the second race in Campo Grande. And it's Mitch Evans in La Plata, another one of those no longer around. Marcus Ericsson, Joseph Newgarden, and it's Shane Van Gisbergen. Earl Bamber, and it's Van Gisbergen who became the first repeat winner this season. He also won again in Hockenheim. Then Kalle Rovanperä, Nick Tandy and Earl Bamber, who is the only driver other than Van Gisbergen to have won more than once this season. Nine different drivers in League 2 have tasted victory this campaign. In League 1, we've had Kevin Magnussen, Felix Rosenqvist, and Scott McLaughlin, who won 2 in a row. Then Kevin Estra, who won for the first time in Rockingham. Then Rosenqvist won again in Dijon Bourgogne, followed by Rio Hirakawa, Robin Frines, Antonio Felix da Costa. Estra won again in Poznan. Then it was da Costa and then Rosenqvist. So we've had a total of 18 different drivers winning in the Grand Prix Series this season. We've got the second round of pit stops, one at Lola and one at Jaguar. Kalle Rovanperä and Earl Bamber are both in together. At the end of lap 33. It's vitally important for Bamber. He's out in clear air, and I'm not 100% sure that he actually is, because it feels like he's got Roman DeAngelis pretty much right in front of him, although 4 seconds in front, so I think Bamber might be alright for now. But if I was Brendan Hartley, I would consider pitting in response to that, and he's doing so now. He's got a Pacific in front of him. That is Callum Ilott, who's had a race to forget today, and Hartley had to hold back a little bit. That'll cost him a little bit of time. Kyle Kirkwood avoids the barrier. There's no way that Earl Bamber will have made up enough ground in one lap. And out goes Say Maloney. Looks like a gearbox failure, is it? That's forced him out. The engine switched off either way. It's going to be no points again for the man from Barbados. Here it is, a gearbox failure for the Ford driver, who goes no further. His teammate is still inside the points, who is now in for his last trip to the pits and for his final set of tyres and fuel. Newgarden up in second place, and it's Whincup and Tandy, who will remind you he is on the one stop. He's in front of Hartley by over 6 seconds. But is he going to have the tyres to hold on? I can tell you that Earl Bamber, he's run about 4.5 seconds behind Brendan Hartley. Newgarden in from second position. Both of the keeper Kiros remain out there. Van Gisbergen is trying to go as far as he can before he pits in. He wants as fresh tyres as possible for when he heads for the pit lane. He'll come out behind Earl Bamber, but he'll have the advantage with the tyres. He just needs to be wary of Kalle Rovanperä, who's already made his last trip to the pit lane. And there we see Van Gisbergen is coming up behind the Toyota of Nick de Vries. Dorian Pan in for Iron Dames. It's unlikely that they're going to be coming away with any points today. Van Gisbergen is in. Now he went as far as he could with the fuel. That will hand the lead over to Jamie Whincup. Nick Tandy will go into second place. Marcus Ericsson will be third. Brendan Hartley will go up to fourth. And then DeAndres and Bamber who will head through, but Rovanperä is the one to look at. Does Van Gisbergen get out in front of Rovanperä? He does, he's ahead of him. And that's important for Van Gisbergen. Dragovic heading past the sack speed of Johnny Adam for 14th. Marcus Ericsson in P3. Yet to come in for his last trip. Here's Whincup coming in for his final pit stop. Well, the bad news for Tandy is that he's got a back marker in front of him. That is Dorian Pan, who's just made her last trip to the pits. That's not going to make Tandy's life easier by any means. Whincup is still leading. Hartley going past the Pacific of Kalamailot. He's trying to unlock himself. I don't know why he's doing that, his Ilot. Anlo is in for sack speed. And the second Ford is going to be pulling out of the race. Felipe Dragovic, after one of his best races in this series, is going to pull to the side. And it's another suspension failure. That is both of Lucy Bassendale's cars out of this race. Dragovic goes no further. Whincup is in for his final stop for Cooper Kiro, as is Marcus Ericsson for Lola. And Nick de Vries is also out. That's the second of Michael Gillespie's cars pulling out of the race. Now, what did he do? It was also a mechanical failure. And the problem was the gearbox. Following a double points hole in Pano, it is a double non-finish in Marrakesh for Toyota. It's a flurry of pit stops going on at the moment. DeAndres and Yi are both in at the same time, so Yi is going to get held up if he's unlucky here. Wincup rejoins in 6th place behind Joseph Newgarden. Ericsson rejoins in 8th ahead of Kamui Kobayashi. DeAndres rejoins in 10th place, and Yi Ify is going to fall behind Johnny Adam. Nick Tandy leads then. His gap to Hartley is only 3 seconds. And he's coming up to lap Dorian Pan. And Anlower is also slowing down in the Zach speed. It's another retirement from this race. And it's a puncher for the Frenchman. Zach speed are likely to remain in League 2 next season. Not been on a good run of form at this moment in time. Tanley's just lapped Kyle Kirkwood in the Chip Ganassi. Doing his utmost to get back on the lead lap. Cooper Kiro going to celebrate their second win in the Grand Prix Series. Or is Brendan Hartley going to be standing on the top step for the first time in over 2 seasons? And Raymond DeAndres on the fresher tyres heads past the one-stopping Kamui Kobayashi for 9th position. Brendan Hartley is going to come up to lap Kyle Kirkwood. We've got 11 laps remaining. A lot can still change. Dorian Pan has been remaining in front of Tandy since she last came in. And Brendan Hartley does put a lap on the Chip Ganassi at last, and out goes Dorian Pan. That's a front suspension failure on the Iron Danes. That was not Tandy running into the back of her. That's a front suspension failure giving way on Jake Senson's car. And Dorian Pan retires from the League 2 Marrakesh Grand Prix. Both Iron Danes cars are out. Both Ford cars are out. Both Toyota cars are out. That's now 9 cars out of the race. Along with Colton Herter. And Johnny Adam is the latest. That's both of the Zaxby's gone. And for the first time, it's an oil fire. That's Adam retiring from 13th position. But at least his retirement wasn't as dramatic as Pan's. Another race without points for Zach Speed, unfortunately. .2 seconds is the gap between Tandy and Hartley. Nose to tail. Louis Delatraz just came in for his last stop, so we are expecting to not fall into the clutches of the leaders here. Robin Perro running in 5th position. ahead of Newgarden and Whincup. Now Van Gisbergen making that later pit stop compared to Bamber has helped him close the gap to 3 seconds. It's just whether he'll have the time to pass him when he does catch up to him. It's Andy. As Bamber gets held up behind Callum Ilott, this is costing Bamber time. And that can only encourage Van Gisbergen. It's Andy holding on ahead of Hartley here. Bold strategy has paid off for Kipakiro so far, but will it be enough to keep Tandy ahead of the Kiwi? And this is an important one for the championship, because if Tandy can come away with the win, that would close the gap on his rivals. He'll be ahead of Ericsson. He will be closing on Bamber by 10 points, reducing it from 14 to 4. And with Van Gisbergen, who starts on pole, the gap will come down to just 8 points. Yuffie, who's had a race to forget so far, is doing his best to go after Jody Palmer and Kumiko Kobayashi to get back into the points. Here's old Bamber. Van Gisbergen does put a lap on Callum Ilott. Oh, that's a crash! That's Van Gisbergen out! No, it's not. My apologies. But Van Gisbergen had crashed into the barrier at turn 8. Ilott's up. He clipped the barrier and it almost looked like he lost a wheel for a moment, but somehow kept the car going and he's lost the place to Kalle Rovanperä. And he very nearly took out Callum Ilott whilst he was at it. Nate Tandy still leading ahead of Hartley. The gap coming down to 6 tenths. That's another couple of points down the drain at the moment for Shane Van Gisbergen, which opens up the championship fight even more. It'll be down to just 2 points between him and Bamber. And Nick Tandy, providing he stays in the lead, will be within 6 points. But Brendan Hartley will want to do his teammate a favour and get by him. Not long left in this race. And Van Gisbergen's lost another position. And we're going to see why. He's pulled off the circuit and it's game over for the championship leader. Was that contributed by hitting the barrier earlier? Not 100% sure, but it's game over for Shane Van Gisbergen. That has blown the championship wide open as we reach the business end of the season. And Earl Bamber has the chance to take over leadership in the Drivers' Championship. And another retirement from the race, it's Nick Cassidy. Both of the Mazdas are out of the race now. And it's a suspension failure for the Kiwi. So 2 Kiwis out on the pretty much the same lap, or within a lap of each other. Suspension failure has taken its toll on the cars on this circuit. And Ericsson stopped. Ericsson has stopped in the Lola. Is that a puncher? Either way, the engine switched off and it's game over for Marcus Ericsson. His 4th non-finish of the season. If there was a time in the campaign to have something like this, now is most certainly not the time. It's a gearbox failure for the Swede. The cars are breaking down. We've seen a lot of retirements, I have to say, in the last 10 laps or so, compared to what we had at the beginning of this. Bad news for Lola, bad news for Ducati, but this is played into the hands of Cuba Kiro, because Jamie Whincup is now up into 6th position. Tandy still leads, but Brendan Hartley's right behind. He sniffs a chance of a race win, something he hasn't tasted since the League 2 Sepang Grand Prix in Season 3, when he was racing for Pacific. Earl Bamber in 3rd position will take over the lead in the standings. He'll be 8 points clear of Shane van Gisbergen as it stands. Nick Tandy will move up into 2nd place. If he can hold on ahead of Hartley. And Robert Perra is trying to lap Calamailo. Does get by him eventually. Will we see any more twists here in Marrakesh? We are down to 13 runners. Brendan Hartley is still right behind Nick Tandy. When they head over the line, there'll just be 4 laps to go. There is another back marker potentially in the way. That is Louis Delatrice in the 40, who is chasing after a championship point. Kobayashi, his teammates up. They're in 8th place now, so Kobayashi looks like he's going to end his pointless run. Get 40-some points after all. And Julian Palmer, who is another one of those who's had a difficult season, it's looking good to get a couple of points for Pacific in 9th. Is Brendan Hartley going to snatch victory away? If he does that, then Van Gisbergen will be 2nd place in the championship. Coming through the last chicane of the lap, Tandy doing very, very well to hold on. Been on the 1 stop. But where is Brendan Hartley going to get the overtake done here? Reminder about the strategies. Cuba Kiro are running a maximum top speed, and the same for Ducati. They're both running the same setups. When Kyle Kirkwood is coming for a late pit stop for Chip Ganassi, he's picked up some form of issue, but at least he'll stay in the race. That's an electrical problem that's forced him to come in the closing laps. He might try and go for a fast lap, you know. If any consolation, he's only picked up 1 point all season, has Kyle Kirkwood. But Hartley thinking about it, can't quite do it on Sunday that time around. Calamailo gets lapped by Joseph Newgarden. Next car behind is Jamie Whincup. Team's championship as it is, Jaguar will continue to extend the margin. Cuba Kiro will move in front of Ducati into 2nd place. And Kyle Kirkwood has just come out of the pits. He's trying to unlap from Kamui Kobayashi. feels that he can get that championship point for the fastest lap. That is currently held by Brendan Hartley. Jimmy Winkup is stuck behind Callum. But Nick Tandy is still in the lead. Brendan Hartley doing his best to keep up. But he is running out of time. And Roman De Angelis has run out of time to make an impression on this race because he's just retired from 7th position. And it's a loose wheel on the front right. What a terrible shame for team manager Chris Cavani. It was a decent race, but it's more points down the drain for Lancia in what's been a disappointing season for them. And that will promote Louis Delatraz up into the points. Nick Tandy still ahead of Brendan Hartley. There is one more lap to go after this. Has Brendan Hartley got one more attack? It will probably be over at the second chicane, over at turn 4, where he'll make a last gasp dive for it. I think Delatraz will be fine from this. It's a straight head-to-head for victory in Marrakesh between Nick Tandy and Brendan Hartley. Tandy's exit from turn 3 was excellent. Brendan Hartley's into the slipstream. He thinks about going for it on the inside. Cannot do it there, unfortunately, Hartley. I think Tandy's done enough to hold on here. No more mistakes from here on in. He just needs to get to the end. You can see El Bamba in the background as well, but he's not going to be doing anything about these two. Nick Tandy has withstood the pressure. He has nailed the strategy here on the streets of Morocco in its capital city of Marrakesh. What a drive. We wouldn't have expected this, but Ed Hunter is going to be a pleased man once again. Nick Tandy exits the final corner. Nick Tandy wins the Lead 2 Marrakesh Grand Prix. He wins out by 0.8 of a second over Brendan Hartley, who comes home in second place. El Bamba inherits the championship lead by coming home in P3. Kalle Rovanperä 4th. Joseph Newgarden ensures that Jaguar stay at the top of the team's championship. Jamie Winkup 6th. Kamui Kobayashi will end his run of races without a point with a 7th place finish. Does Kyle Kirkwood take the championship point for fast up away from Brendan Hartley? I don't think he will this time around. No, he does not. Yeofi 8th for Lancia, a decent effort from him. Julian Palmer 9th, a couple of points for Kevin McMullen and for Pacific. The last driver on the lead lap will be Louis Delatraz. Both 40s inside the points for the first time since round 6 in Dijon-Bourgogne. A great effort for Dave Goddard's team. It's victory for Nick Tandy and for Cooper Kiro, despite running out of fuel on the last lap. Or on the cool down lap, I should say. But a victory is a victory. It's the second win of the season for Ed Hunter's team. Tandy moves up to second place in the Drivers' Championship. He wins out over Brendan Hartley by 0.8 of a second. El Bamba just 3 seconds behind in third place. He's now into the championship lead. Kalle Rovanperä 4th. Joseph Newgarden in 5th. Jamie Winkup bagging more points for him and for Cooper Kiro in 6th. Kamui Kobayashi, Yeofi, Julian Palmer and Louis Delatraz, who makes it 2 40s inside the top 10. In 11th place is Callum Ilott, just missing out on points. Kyle Kirkwood, pissing towards the end, is in P12. DeAndre's classified in 30 despite stopping. Marcus Ericsson out, as is Shane van Gisbergen, no longer the championship leader. Nick Cassidy also retiring. Johnny Adam, Dorian Pan, Julian Anlauer, Nick de Vries, Felipe Drogovic, Say Maloney, Sho Suboy, Richard Verschaw, Colton Herter and Bijskevitzer were all the drivers to not finish. The pole position point going to Shane van Gisbergen, the fast lap point going to his teammate Brendan Hartley. What a day again for Cooper Kiro. They continue to go from strength to strength. They move ahead of Ducati into second place in the team's championship, but Jaguar still remain on top with their latest result, with Earl Bumber finishing in third place and Joseph Newgarden finishing in fifth. That's 25 points for them. For Cooper Kiro, they bag 33 to my calculation. They are now just 2 points off the top with 5 races to go. Could Kiro defy the odds and come away with the team's championship at the end of the season? That is most certainly going to please team manager Ed Hunter. Ducati have had a day to forget. They still remain in the promotion places. Lola have had a day to forget again, but Jaguar and Cooper Kiro are the teams who are in form in League 2. It's time to run down on the Drivers and Teams Championships in League 2 in the voice of Topher Smith, and we'll be back for the League 1 race very, very shortly.
A highly attritional race and a battle all the way to the flag there. Nick Tandy takes his second win of the season, and he is well and truly a title contender now, just beating out Brendan Hartley, who doesn't pick up his first win of the campaign, but he can be happy that he is back on the podium once again. What has this race done to the championship standings though? Well, Earl Bamber has moved back into the lead of the standings, 141 points for the New Zealander, ahead of Nick Tandy, who's up into second and only 4 points off the championship lead at the moment. Shane van Gisbergen down to third, a further 4 behind, ahead of Marcus Ericsson on 119, Joseph Newgarden on 90, Jimmy Whincup up to 6th in the standings on 65 points, equal with De Angelis, but ahead on countback. Julian Anlauer 8th on 64, ahead of Yaya Fay, and Mitch Evans still in the top 10 despite having missed the last few rounds. He is on 51 points as it stands. And in the teams, Cooper Kiro is now within touching distance of the championship lead. 2 points separates Jaguar and Cooper Kiro. It's Mike Smith versus Ed Hunter at the moment, but Sam Hall's Ducati team and Marcus Johansson's Lola team not too far behind, still only 27 points between those 4. This is going to be a fierce battle for those promotion spots all the way to the end of the season. Lancia of 5th on 128 ahead of Zach Speed on 108. 40 Corsa up to 51 points ahead of Mazda on 40. Pacific on 31, Iron Dames on 30. Ford on 26, Chip Ganassi on 23. And Toyota not following up their double points finish last time. They score 0 today and stay on 19 points in 13th and last. So with League 2 done and dusted, let's head on over to League 1 and remind ourselves of the championship standings coming into today, where 14 points separates the top 5 as it stands. Felix Rosenqvist on 127, Scott Dixon on 123, Antonio Fix da Costa on 122, Kevin Estre on 113, and Robin Friends also on 113. It is going to be between those 5 you feel for the title, but Scott McLaughlin and Kevin Magnussen still within touching distance, I'd say, on 93 and 86 points respectively. Christopher Bell 8th on 62 ahead of Rio Hirakawa on 60, and Nicholas Latifi rounds out the top 10 on 46. In the team standings, Arrows are only 4 points ahead of Onyx, 240 to 236, while Fomertal's looking to get themselves fully into that championship battle. They're on 208 points. Those 3 teams I think will be the ones fighting for the title this year. The HRT and Minardi are on 155 and 102 each, maybe a little bit out of touching distance of the top 3, but never say never in this championship. BAR 6th on 80 points ahead of Force India on 64, Carlin on 40, Ram on 34, Andretti on 31, and in the relegation zone as it stands, Premier Racing on 22, Prost on 16, and Simtech on 8. Will that all change in the last 6 races of the season? We'll have to wait and see. But for now, with no driver changes to make note of for League 1, let's get straight to the qualifying results. And Felix Rosenqvist once again putting it on pole position this season by less than a tenth of a second to Kevin Estre. Is really close between those two, with Scott Dixon not too far behind either, putting both Onyxes into the top 3. Philip Hansen did a great job in qualifying to put his BAR 4th on the grid ahead of Scott McLaughlin and HRT. Robin Friends 6th, almost a quarter of a second off his teammate. He won't be too happy with that. Then the 2 Fomertals of Antonio Fix da Costa and Kevin Magnussen in 7th and 8th. And rounding out the top 10, Philippe Albuquerque and Christopher Bell 10th in the HRT. 11th will be the Force India of Jean-Eric Werner ahead of Pascal Wehrlein in the Minardi. Raffaele Marcello in the second Force India lines up 13th ahead of Jose Maria Lopez in the Prost. Ryo Hirakawa 15th ahead of Sebastian Buemi, our reigning champion. And then Linus Lundqvist, Stoffel van Dorn, Alex Palou and Jake Dennis rounding up the top 20. And at the back, Tina Hausman, Pato O'Ward, Igor Fraga, Oliver Rowland, Louis Foster and Tom Coronel once again propping up the field in 26th place. Well, we had a lot of drama and excitement in the League 2 race, a lot of attrition as well. Will we see more of the same in the League 1 race? Let's waste no more time in finding out. Let's head on back to the commentary box and hand it back to Tom Cairns, who is eagerly awaiting to get this race started. So Tom, back to you.
Felix Rosenqvist on pole with Kevin Estre alongside Rosenqvist. Inherits the lead after Parnu. Can he maintain it this time? The lights are coming on now. Lights are on. Lights off. It's go in Marrakesh. A brilliant getaway, but look at the... I have to say the BAR of Philip Hansen's got to an astonishing start. Has made his way into the lead briefly before Scott McLaughlin was able to snatch it. Scott McLaughlin from 5th place is into the lead coming out of the first chicane. Remarkable stuff. And out goes Philip Albuquerque, who has ended up in the barrier. And I think he's come together with another driver. He came together with Rosenqvist and ended up in the wall. Race over after 2 turns for Philip Albuquerque. It looks like another wheel's come off his car. And it's game over for him. First retirement. In contrast, his teammate has made up into 2nd place after starting 4th. Will the stewards take any action on that one? I think it will go down as a racing incident. And it will go down as a racing incident. McLaughlin leads. Hansen is 2nd as Tina Hausman is also taken out at the 2nd chicane. And it's race over for her in what's been a miserable season for Simtech. And it was Igor Fraga, by the looks of it, that ran into Tina Hausman. Someone up the inside. Yeah, it was too far back. Came in with too much speed and unexpect a disqualification and a race ban for Igor Fraga. Two cars out before lap 1 is over. We went through the opening 7 laps in the League 2 race before we've had our first one. We've got 2 out now, and it's a race ban and a disqualification for this race for Igor Fraga, sorry. So wherever he finishes will be irrelevant. He'll be out of the next round in New Delhi, or Kyalami I should say. And Joseph Loke should be the one replacing Igor Fraga, as he reserved and substituted in for Alex Palou in Hockenheim earlier this season. Hockenheim leads ahead of Hansen. Fines has got in front of Dixon into 3rd place, but Rosenqvist, who started on pole, is down in 6th position. He's ahead of Bell, Magnussen, DeCosta and Wehrlein, who are in the top 10. Here we look at Philip Hansen in 2nd position, podium finisher last time out in Parnu. Good start to life in the Grand Prix Series for him, unlike for his teammate Philip Albuquerque, who has yet to score since his debut. Buckland still continuing to lead, 1.3 clear over Hansen. Fines is in 3rd, who has not been on the best of form in recent races. He finished 7th last time out in Parnu. He ended up 2nd in Brno and 4th at the race before that. in Poznan. So it's actually not bad form for Frines. It's just he's not really in the championship fight. Oh, he is actually. He's 14 points off the championship lead. I'd probably say there's 7 drivers who are in genuine contention to take the championship. Now we are hearing rumours that Christopher Bell could be competing in his last race for HRT at this round. Now the team's reserve driver is Luke Browning, who competed for Dave Goddard's 40 team in Season 4. And he also competed for Scott Woodward's Simtek squad in Season 3. So he does come in with experience, does Browning. Sean Verne not able to find a way through on Pascal Verline. He's now got his teammate Rafael Marcello for company. There's Ria Hirakawa, Sebastian Loeb and Jose Maria Lopez in the top 15, who are in desperate need of points, are Prost. Kevin Estra running in 5th position for Onyx. He was in the championship lead earlier in the campaign, but not anymore. 2 races in a row he's failed to finish. In the team's championship, Arrows are ahead by 4 points, or they were coming into this round, over Ryan Ferris's Onyx squad. It's Von Metal in 3rd place, and up in smoke goes Robin Frines. We were talking about him earlier. Is he able to get that car back to the pits on lap number 5? The car is on fire. It's game over for Robin Frines, and he nearly takes out his teammate Felix Rosenquist, who could have gone airborne. Those the Von Metals go through. It's great news for Onyx. It's bad news for Arrows and for Topher Smith. Frines retires from the League 1 Marrakesh Grand Prix, goes no further. Lap 6, 3 drivers out already. Robin Frines, Tina Hausman and Philip Albuquerque. Dixon's now in 3rd place, Estra 4th, it's Rosenquist, Bell, DeCosta, Magnussen, Verline and Verne. That's Ward, who has only scored points on 1 occasion this season. That was in Rockingham. He's running down in 20th position behind the sole surviving Simtek of Tom Coronel. Scott McLaughlin in the lead, the 2-time race winner this season, winner in La Plata, winner in Indianapolis. Went on a run of 3 non-finishes in a row after that. Then he returned to the podium in round 8 in Mugello. He's finished in the points in the last 5 races, including that one. There's a car zone ahead. It looks like an Onyx. It's Scott Dixon. The man second place in the championship coming into this round is out on lap 7. Just saw Madison overtake Da Costa whilst Dixon was pulling off. It's another retirement for the Onyx team. It's a suspension failure which took its toll on the cars in the Lead 2 race earlier. And there's a car without a front wing. I think that's Alex Palou, who has taken damage somewhere around the circuit. He's going to need to be in for a new nose section. Right on board with Philip Hansen in second place. Kevin Estra now up to third. Rosenquist back up to fourth. Then it's Bell, Magnussen, Da Costa, Verline, Verne and Hirakawa. Hello, coming into the pits for Ram. It's going to be a lonely race for him from there now. Sebastian Buemi's just overtaken Rafael Marciello for 11th position. Sebastian Buemi, the reigning Drivers' Champion, only scoring points on 2 occasions. He has 3 points to his name. His teammate Jose Emilio Lopez has 13. Time is running out for Prost to remain a League 1 squad for next season. McLaughlin is cleared by 2 seconds over Hansen. Kevin Estra third, Rosenquist ahead of Bell, who's desperate to get HRT back in the hunt for the team's championship. With 1 Onyx and 1 Arrows out of the race so far, there is a good chance for them to do just that here. Around about 5 laps away from the first round of stops. I would expect McLaughlin and Hansen to be in. First running in 14th for Andretti, who are aiming to end their run of 6 races without scoring. It's the same for Ram, but with Igor Fraga already staring at disqualification and Alex Palou pitting in earlier than expected. There's no chance they're going to be coming away with any points this time around, I don't think. Prema have gone 3 races without scoring. They need to get something out of this as well. As for Carlin, Van Dod's running in 15th position. He's the man who's been scraping out the results for Pro Brown's team. And there we see Da Costa going through on Magnussen for P6. Hansen in second place. BAR came into this one 6th in the standings with 80 points. They were very much assured of League 1 racing for next season. Estra in third. Looking at the positions in the race, Rosenquist with pole position and a 4th place finish that would move him on to 140 points. Dixon won't be scoring. Da Costa, who came into this one 3rd, he's on course for 8 championship points. 128. It's Kevin Estra in 4th, who bagged 15 points as it stands. moving him on to 128. Da Costa will be ahead on countback though. Then we've got Robin Fines who won't be scoring. Scott McLaughlin, who's in the lead and on course for fastest lap. He'll move on to 121, which will see him leapfrog Robin Fines into 5th place in the Drivers' Championship. Second position. He wants to put himself in the market for next season. Team manager Will Knight will be aiming to keep hold of him. Question marks are going to be hanging over whether Philip Albuquerque will be there again though. Exits the last corner and will complete lap number 12. And there's a Fomitel up in smoke. That is Kevin Magnussen. He's gone past pit entry. That's one of Ewan Gale's cars out of the race. Needs to be careful, it doesn't cause any problems here. He's got Rio Hirakawa behind. Sebastian Buemi will be the next driver to head through. Through, as will Marcello. Winston slows down and will park up in the same place where Frines and Dixon had stopped earlier. So the only team with both of their cars still running from the top 4 in the Team's Championship are HRT, with McLaughlin in the lead and Bell in 5th. But it's no points here for Kevin Magnussen. Surely his chances of becoming the Grand Prix Series champion this season are over. Approaching the first round of stops, but will we see any from the leaders? Mr. goes past the pit entry. There's Chris Bell. I think Da Costa will go through pit entry. So no pit stops on at the end of lap 14 as far as we know. McLaughlin aiming for win number 3 this season. He'd also won in Anderstorp last campaign. HRT have tasted victory in the Grand Prix Series on 7 occasions in their history. Adrian still got the first one for them in Adelaide in Season 2. Alex Lynn also won in Magny-Cours that campaign. And since they got their promotion to League One, Scott McLaughlin won for them in Season 4 in Antstop. And he's been the only driver since then to have won for them. Bell is still yet to finish on the top step of the podium. And if the rumours are to be true, this race could end up being his last. Topher Van Dong coming in for his first scheduled stop for Carlin. The same for Tom Coronel. Pit stop over at Onyx. Kevin Estra is in from 3rd place. That'll allow Rosenquist, Bell, DeCosta, Verline and Co to head through. That's Alex Blow getting by Tom Coronel for position. As Igor Fraga makes his way into the pits for Ram. Oliver Rowland is entering the pit lane for Prema. And I'll take the opportunity now to run down on the setups that each of the League One teams have brought for Marrakesh. Prost, HRT and BAR have gone for maximum top speed. Arrows, mid-top speed. Force India, Minardi, Simtech and Onyx, maximum top speed. Fonmetal, mid-top speed. Carlin, Prema and Andretti and Ram have all gone for maximum top speed. And Scott McLaughlin is in from the lead, which is handed over to Philip Hansen. Hansen is in at the end of lap 17. There we see Rowland fighting it out with Tom Coronel at the back of the field. And there goes Coronel, who'll go by Oliver Rowland at the chicane. Peter Ward enters the pit lane for Carlin. What will this mean for the leaders here? Well, Hansen is coming up to these back markers, so if he is doing the 2-stop, I think it may be wise if he comes in at the end of this lap to avoid getting stuck in traffic. And he is in. I think that was the right thing to do. And that's Jose Maria Lopez being overtaken by Kevin Estra, who has just pitted. Felix Rosenquist, well, I'll tell you that. The top 4 are all in. Hansen, Rosenquist, Bell and DeCosta. Which should mean Pascal Verline going into the lead for Minardi. It'll be Sean Fern in 2nd place, Ria Hirakawa 3rd. Scott McLaughlin goes back up into 4th place on track, and he's in front of Hansen again. It's Oliver Rowland going back ahead of Coronel. There we see Vern in 2nd place as Rosenquist gets stuck behind Jose Maria Lopez. This is not helping Rosenquist's race one bit. But Verline continues on. Is he trying the 1-stop? Or is he sticking with the 2? continues on, but Vern is in, as is Rio Hirakawa, which releases McLaughlin. Jose Maria Lopez is also in for Prost. Marcello and Buemi stay out. Sundqvist heading into the pit lane. Here we see Kevin Estre up the inside of Sebastian Buemi into turn number 4. Will we see anyone trying the one-stop? It feels like the most likely ones are Verline, Marcello and Buemi. Hansen, third place on the track. Marcello and Estre next behind as they begin lap number 21 of this League 1 Marrakesh Grand Prix. Here we see Pascal Verline, yet to win this season. In the last campaign, in season 4, as we watch Rosenqvist overtake Buemi for 6th position on circuit. Pascal Verlaine only did 3 races last season for Fomitel. This season, beats him for Minardi. His best finish has been a 3rd place in Campo Grande. His teammate Rio Hirakawa has also finished in 3rd place in Rockingham and won the League 1 Jerez Grand Prix in Spain. And Rosenqvist up in smoke, and both Arrows drivers are out! More misery for Topher Smith. Rosenqvist, the championship leader, has stopped. And this leaves the door open for Antonio Felix da Costa and Kevin Estre to make amends. Talking which of Kevin Estre is just going by Rafael Marcello for 4th place on circuit. Another twist in both the drivers and in the team's championships. We've lost 2 Arrows drivers, we've lost an Onyx, and we've lost a Fonmetal. Verline leads the race, for now at least. McLaughlin is second, 1.3 seconds off him. Now Verline has yet to stop. If he can pull the gap, if he can keep McLaughlin back before he pits in, that could help him, because if he was to pit now, he could get out in front of Hirakawa, but if not, he'll get out in front of Foster. I think Louis Foster hasn't stopped yet in this race, thinking of it. Exits the last corner at the end of lap 23. Stays out for another lap. 9/10 was the margin in sector 2. The gap has come down to 8/10. Hansen doing his best to keep up. Marcello comes in for Force India. from 5th place. And there's a car up in smoke. It's Jose Lopez in the Prost. Not what they needed at this stage in the season. Unless Lopez can get that car back to the pit lane, which he doesn't. And he's going to be the next driver to pull out. The car is on fire, so he needs to pull that off as soon as he can. Does the Argentine. Behind him is Topher Van Dorn. You won't want to hang around him. With a barbecue essentially happening on Lopez's car. And it looks like Philip Hansen has been overtaken by Kevin Estre. Has he encountered a problem? Well, he's back in the pit lane. And this is an earlier than expected pit stop for Philip Hansen. Lopez retires. Who was most certainly in contention for points, but he's not going to be scoring any here. Sebastian Buemi is in for Prost now. It just gets better and better for HRT. Hansen rejoins in P7. Buemi rejoins behind Jean-Luc Verne. But we expect Buemi to go to the end. He's now in the points still. McLaughlin overtakes Verline for the lead. Kevin Estre in 3rd position. Once Verline comes in, he'll go up into 2nd position. Verline is in now at the end of lap 25. And Lundqvist is the next to slow in the Andretti. And he's also out of the race. Around about half race distance, that's one of the Andretti's gone. And Linus Lundqvist's run of 6 races without a point continues. Bell in 3rd place. Then it's DaCosta. Verline, who's rejoining 5th after pitting. And Hirakawa, who's on the 2-stop, goes in front of his teammate. So there's a team game going on at Minardi. Christopher Bell, who's in 3rd place, is coming up to lap one of the back markers. I think it might be Alex Below, who's pitting in again. Oliver Rowland now up into 15th position. His teammate Louis Foster's only come into the pit lane. At least both cars are still going in this. And we see a problem for Tom Coronel in the Simtech, and it's going to be a double non-finish for Liv Simtech's squad. It's been an awful season for them. The last points finish was in La Plata, and nearly taking out the race leader, does Coronel. That's the Simtech gone from this. Just waiting for the marshal to pick up and it'll be craned away. Another car breaker of an event here in Marrakesh. And Belsoin as well in the HRT. Suspension failure. And does that bring the curtain down on his career with the team? Another driver from the top 4 teams pulling out of this. There's only McLaughlin, Estra and DaCosta left from them. Ria Hirakawa up to 4th place. Pascal Verline is 5th and he's about to be overtaken here by Philip Hansen, who had to make that extra stop. He's got through on Verline now. Now I don't know whether he added more fuel in that stop or whether he needs to pit in again. If I was Verline, I'd just let him go and let him get on with his race. We are down to what I believe are 15 cars in this race. That retirement for HRT is terrible luck for team manager John Munro. With all the top guns struggling in this is a great opportunity for the likes of Force India, Prost, Minardi, BAR, and Carlin to be getting points. Igor Fraga, who's running in P11, has a disqualification hanging over him, which will promote Pato Ward off a position, and also promoting Jake Dennis, Oliver Rowland, and Louis Foster. Alex Palou is still in this race, so there's 16 cars left in this, not 15. Still got 22 laps to go. That's one of the premiers up ahead of Scott McLaughlin. That will be Louis Foster, who's had little to celebrate this season. There goes Philip Hansen on Ria Hirakawa, and that's done over just before turn number 4. Hansen, well, he's got more than 16 seconds to make up on Antonio Felix DaCosta. Who is going to win this race? Well, the last driver from outside the top 4 teams to get a win this season in League One. That will have been over at Jerez, where Ria Hirakawa took victory for Minardi, which is the only time this season that's happened, and Hansen has just posted the fast up of the race and takes it away from Scott McLaughlin. This blow being lapped by Antonio Felix DaCosta. Amy running a 9th for Prost would be good for them, but they ideally want to try and get more if they can help it. He is on the 1 stop, so he should perhaps move in front of Vern, Marcello and Hirakawa, and I think Hansen's expected to pit in again. So providing Boehme doesn't fight it out with too many drivers, he should be okay, but he's got to get to the end without any reliability issues. gap to Estra has come down a little bit, but I wonder if that's because he had to get by Foster to lap. Now, if McLaughlin was to pit in now, it would rejoin in front of Hansen. Now we see McLaughlin. There is Estra. Getting the gap down to 4.2 seconds in the second sector. Running in third position. Now, if he was to remain where he is, with Rosenquist and Dixon already out, he'll move into the lead of the Drivers' Championship. McLaughlin's win will move him on to 120 points. He no longer has the fast lap point. Felix Rosenquist got the point for pole position earlier. Igor Fraga comes in for his final stop for Ram. McLaughlin will leapfrog Robin Frines, will move up into 5th place. Costa takes this one, he'll move on to 135 points. Rosenquist will be second on 128. Estra will be second on 131. Rosenquist will be third on 128. Then it'll be Dixon in fourth on 123. And McLaughlin in fifth on 120. Frines will remain in 6th place, or drop down to 6th place on 113. Well, I say that Scott McLaughlin's car is up in smoke. It could all change. It just has. Scott McLaughlin, unless he can get his car back to the pit lane, it's curtains. It's curtains for Scott McLaughlin and for HRT. Surely their chances of winning either the Drivers' or the Team's Championships this season are over. Into the lead goes Kevin Estra and for Onyx. Up to second goes Antonio Felix da Costa and von Mittal. Philip Hansen moves back into the final podium position in third. Saw a pit stop for Oliver Rowland, which sees him drop behind Alex Palou. But the bigger picture is that Scott McLaughlin retires from the race. His run of 5 consecutive points finishes are over. On a day where a lot of the top guns had hit trouble, HRT needed to take advantage of that. They're going to come away with nothing. So it's Estra leads Da Costa, Hansen in third place for BAR. Another twist! Kevin Estra is also up in smoke! What is going on? Kevin Estra, who was destined to win this race, is out! And so is Pascal Furline, who could have been leading this race had the one-stop strategy paid off. His front suspension has given way! It's all kicking off in Marrakesh! Furline is out. Astra is out. And it's Da Costa who now leads the League One Marrakesh Grand Prix. The championship is wide open. It's the third race in a row that Astra has failed to finish. And it's the first time that Onyx in Season 5 will not see either of their cars make it to the checkered flag. Antonio Da Costa leads. Philip Hansen is second. Rio Hirakawa is third for Minardi. Then it's Rafael Marciello and Jean-Luc Verne in fourth and fifth. And we've got a pit stop over at Fomental because Antonio Da Costa is in for his final stop. And Roland's had to come back in again for Prema. Rio Hirakawa comes in for Minardi. That will leave Philip Hansen to lead the race again. Jean-Luc Verne is also in for Force India. Rafael Marciello goes into second place. So that promotes Sebastian Buemi up to fourth. Topher is now fifth. There is your race leader, your new race leader. Well, what was the race leader before he just came in for his final trip to the pits, but on paper, he should be the one winning this race as Philip Hansen enters the pit lane for his final stop. Now, are we going to see Marciello take the lead for Force India, or is he going to be coming in? He's going to lead a lap at least. Here's Marciello. Could well see Sebastian Buemi go up into third place, and we are. Stoffan Dom comes in for his final stop for Carlin. Now here's Da Costa, line up a pass here on Marciello. He is. And he's going to go through into the lead is Antonio Da Costa again. 14 laps away from another victory this season. It'll be his third of the campaign. If he wins this one, he'll break the record for the most number of Grand Prix World Series victories of all time. Scott Dixon is level with him. We know he won't be extending it today because he's already out. And Marciello's car is on fire. The Force India is out of the race. Another one goes in this grueling race. We know it's a hot event here in Morocco. Maybe too hot for these machines. Yeah. It's game over. Got a pit stop over at Carlin. Pato Ward has come in from 6th position. But another one goes out. Marciello again. 8th retirement of the season for the Swiss Italian. Or 7th rather. Hansen goes up into 3rd place and up into 2nd position is Sebastian Buemi. The man who's only achieved 3 championship points all season has got a golden opportunity to get Prost out of the bottom 3. I tell you what, if something happens to Antonio Da Costa between now and the checkered flag, we are in for a remarkable result. We are down to just 12 runners. Plus, Igor Fraga, who's running in 9th place, is staring at a disqualification, which will promote Jake Dennis up to 9th and his teammate Alex Pillay up into 10th. Laps remaining. 10 seconds is the gap between Da Costa and Buemi. Now Buemi's on the one stop, so we expect Hansen to close in quite quickly here and go through. I don't think Buemi will fight this one too much. Can Buemi hold on to second place? I think it's doubtful, but he has to play the safe game. As it stands, Antonio Felix da Costa will move into the lead of the championship. He will be 17 points clear over second place Felix Rosenquist. A win for Fonmetal would still see them third in the championship, but they'll close to within 5 points of second place Onyx as we watch Philip Hansen overtake Sebastian Buemi for second place. He's done it. Philip Hansen moves up into second position. Buemi just couldn't hold him off. He's got 9 seconds in hand over Ryo Hirakawa though. Arrows got a point for pole position, which is little consolation for them. Fonmetal will be 10 points off the championship lead as it stands. There we see Buemi in third place. See Hansen in P2. Otto Ward, who made his final stop, goes past the one stop in Louis Foster for P7. There we see Philip Hansen in second place, desperate to go after Da Costa. Had it not been for that extra stop which he had to do for Hansen, he would have been in the lead by now, but it's not over yet. It's far from over. Sebastian Buemi came close to a podium earlier this season in Dijon-Bourgogne and in Jerez. His teammate Lopez came close to a podium before he retired in Mugello. But surely luck is going to be on Prost's side today. Da Costa is 8 laps away from win number 3. He's third in the last 5 races. And it'll be a record-breaking 9th Grand Prix Series victory for the vice champion of Season 3 in League 1. Buemi We'll be hoping for the checkered to come out soon. He's got 7 seconds in hand over Ryo Hirakawa, who's chasing him down all the time. There is a back marker in between them, so that could come to Buemi's aid. Hansen in second position. What a remarkable job he's done today. It'll be 41 championship points after 4 races for that man. Now, this will move him in front of Verne, I think, as we see Louis Foster. It looks like he's slowing down, actually. He is in the Premier. Bad news for Alex Johnston. What a terrible, terrible luck. Terrible, terrible luck for him. Foster is out, and he won't have completed enough laps to be classified either. It will promote his team up into the points in 10th, because Igor Fraga has that disqualification, but that's another car gone from this. And Ryo Hirakawa is the next to slow down in the Minardi. Both of Giacomo Pagliaro's cars are going to be out before the race is over. And that promotes Jean-Luc Verne up into 4th place for Force India. Stoffel Van Dorn, Patrick O'Ward, Jake Dennis, Alex Bowen, Oliver Rowland are going to be promoted up, which means we're potentially only going to have 9 cars scoring, with Igor Fraga's disqualification looking set to stand. Well, it's the twist of all twists! 6 laps remaining, and Tony Costa's car, it's up in smoke, and it's game over! Game over for Fonmetal! All the cars from the top 4 teams are out! And into the lead goes Philip Hansen, and for BAR is team manager Will Knight going to be celebrating victory. Is Sebastian Buemi going to bag a 2nd place finish for Prost? There's still 6 laps to go. Anything can happen from here now. And Pato Waters had to come in for Carlin. And that's more points down the drain for Pro Brown's team, but at least O'Ward will stay in this race. He might even try and go for the fast lap point, considering the number of cars we've got left. I really cannot believe what we've been treated to today. Now, the lowest number of finishes we've had in a Grand Prix Series race is 6. And that was in Adelaide in Season 2. That was in the Lead 2 race, which Adrian Sutil had won for HRT. Philip Hansen is lapping Pato O'Ward, but O'Ward is on the fresher tyres, remember, and he's trying to go for a fast lap if he can help it. Sebastian Buemi is just under 12 seconds clear over his former Prost teammate Jean-Luc Verne. Force India are on course for another podium finish, it seems. Verne won, or took a podium for the team in Hockenheim earlier this season. 4 laps to go. This this will be an excellent result for BR. It will be an excellent result for Sebastian Buemi. Only 3 points he had achieved all season before this race. He's going to get 18 from this round alone. Now, working the totals out, Prost are on course to get 18 championship points. Andretti are on course to get 8, or 10 rather, because Igor Fraga's disqualification will be applied. Ram are on course to get 8, with Palou getting 6th. Oliver Oland on course for an 8th place finish. We'll get 4 championship points for Alex Johnston's team. So Prema will move on to 26, Prost 34, Andretti 41 and Ram 40. Carlin with Van Dorn getting 4th place will move on to 52. The biggest losers from the bottom are without a doubt Simtek. So Prost will still be in the bottom 3. But this 2nd place finish will give them an enormous boost. They'll be much closer to safety compared to what they were today. I can definitely tell you that. They will get points now because the remaining runners have completed at least 90% of the race distance. What an insane race. Hansen is just 2 laps away in only his 4th Grand Prix Series race. Is on course for victory. It'll be BAR's first since Nicholas Latifi won out in the season finale in the League One Phillip Island Grand Prix. Surely we won't get another day like this season. See Verne in 3rd place. Force India looking good again. And this result for BAR will in fact move them above Minardi in the Teams Championship. Force India will move on to 79 points. Philip Hansen is about to start the final lap of the race. He has started it now. Sebastian Buemi, with no reliability issues, is going to finish in 2nd place in what's been a daunting season for Prost. 16 championship points they came into this round with, and they're about to more than double that in this race alone. But this man is about to make a name for himself today. What a remarkable performance, especially at the beginning. Those problems he had curtailed his chance of win until Antonio Felix da Costa broke down like many others have done. He kept going though. His car has remained intact. Just one more corner for Philip Hansen. And for Will Knight to celebrate victory for the first time this campaign. And in an incredible race, Philip Hansen wins the League One Marrakesh Grand Prix. It's a first win of the campaign for both him and for BAR. But we're going to see some celebrations over at Prost because Sebastian Buemi gets his and the team's first podium of the campaign. The podium jump is over. Well done to Prost. They are closer to survival. They're still in the bottom 3. But that is a much needed result for them in their chances of staying up. Jean-Luc Verne collects another podium for him and for Ed Spencer's Force India team in 3rd place. Then we go to Stoff Van Dorn in 4th for Carlin, increasing their chances of staying in League One. Igor Fraga will cross over the line in 5th, but his disqualification will drop him down, which means Jake Dennis will end Andretti's run of races without points. He gets 5th position ahead of Alex Palou, who will be the last driver on the lead lap. Pastor Ward and Oliver Rowland are the remaining finishers on with a lap down. It's a win for Philip Hansen, his first in the Grand Prix Series. An incredible event here in Marrakesh. Sebastian Buemi in 2nd place for Prost. Jean-Luc Verne in 3rd for Force India. Stoffel Van Dorn 4th. Jake Dennis 5th. Alex Palou 6th. Patrick Ward 7th. Oliver in 8th. And Tony Fitz-Acosta, despite retiring, is classified in 9th and gets a couple of points at least. Rio Hirakawa retired with gearbox failure, as did Louis Foster. Rafael Marcello, Kevin Escher, who we lost. Pascal Verline, we also lost, who could have won today, as could Scott McLaughlin. Christopher Bell also out. Could that be the end of his time at HRT? Tom Coronel, Linus Lundqvist, Jose Maria Lopez. The championship leader coming into this, Felix Rosenqvist, also retired. And we look at Kevin Magnussen, Scott Dixon, Robin Frines, Tina Hausman, and Philip Albuquerque. All those did not finish. Igor Frogger finished in 5th place, but is disqualified for taking out Tina Hausman on the opening lap of the race. And I doubt that that's going to get overturned. Felix Rosenqvist does get a point for pole position. The fast lap point going to today's race winner, Philip Hansen. For the first time, or for only the 2nd time this campaign, a team outside the top 4 teams in the championship has won. Philip Hansen is the newest race winner in the Grand Prix Series, and he gets his time in the Grand Prix Series very much up and running. For Prost, with Sebastian Buemi's 2nd place, that more than doubles the team's points tally of the campaign. They move above Prema in the team's championship. Prema do score as well, as do Andretti, Ram and Carlin. So Prost stay in the bottom 3, but they give themselves a better chance of staying in League 1 for next season. It's really hotting up. Simtech, with both cars not finishing, are edging closer to not only being relegated from League 1, but possibly going out of the Grand Prix Series altogether. It's time to run down on the League 1 Drivers and Teams Championships in the voice of Topher Smith. And we'll be back for the next round in Kyalami in a couple of weeks' time. Topher, over to you.
Wow, what an incident-packed race that was. Plenty of drama, plenty of action, plenty of controversy, and a podium that I don't think anyone would have predicted. Philip Hansen wins ahead of Sebastian Buemi and Jean-Eric Verne. What a result that is. And only 9 classified finishes as well at the end of that, which means that even though Rio Hirakawa, 10th on the results page, will not pick up the final points for that 10th place, as he was not classified. So with that in mind, let's go through the championship standings. Felix Rosenqvist, with a single point today for pole position, holds on to the lead of the championship on 128 points, 5 ahead of Scott Dixon on 123. Da Costa, he had a really big opportunity to take the lead today, but came to nothing. A couple of points still for the Portuguese driver, and he's on 122 points. Kevin Estra 4th on 113, ahead of Robin Frines, also on 113. Then Scott McLaughlin on 95, Kevin Magnussen on 86, Christopher Bell on 62, Rio Hirakawa on 60, and Philip Hansen moves into the top 10 after only 4 races of his Grand Prix World Series season. Great results by the British driver, and he's up into 10th on 49 points. In the teams, Arrows continues to lead on 241 points ahead of Onyx on 236. Fomitel are on 208 ahead of HRT on 157. A big score for BAR, they're up to 5th on 106. 4 ahead of Minardi on 102. And then Force India on 79. Carlin on 58. Ram on 42. Andretti on 41. And in the relegation zone, Prost moves ahead of Prema with their 2nd place finish today, but still in those dreaded bottom 3 positions. 34 points for the French team ahead of Prema on 26 and Simtech on 8. It is not yet over to decide who will be those 3 teams relegated into League 2 for next season. Well, quite possibly the most dramatic day of the season so far. So many retirements today, unexpected winners, unexpected podium finishes, and we have more racing yet to come over the course of the rest of the season. 5 rounds left to go to decide our champions. Who will they be? Well, make sure you stay tuned for those last few races, and we will find out who those champions will be. Until then, thank you so much for tuning in. It's always a pleasure to have your company. I'm Topher Smith. Take care.